Fitzgerald has done absolutely nothing, but he at least draws coverage from the other team, and, allows the other receivers to get open. I think that offense is underrated. I think Andre Ellington is very underrated. And he's now that he's healthier, coming off that injuries that bothered him the first couple weeks. Excuse me again. I think he's going to start to break out the rest of the year. He did well last year. I think he's going to only continue to improve this year. Excuse me again. Sorry about that.
You got the hiccups or something?
Yeah. I think that team is a very good team. It's going to be tough to beat the Broncos at any time, any game. But 8 points is a lot to give me over a defense that is that good. I like the Cardinals to at least cover in this game.
Yeah. And you can call me crazy, but even with a backup quarterback, the Seahawks did drop a game to the Chargers. I didn't expect that. So I think the Cardinals will easily lock up a wild card spot and possibly make a run at the division. Maybe. So we'll see how that plays out. If the Cardinals beat the Broncos this week, which I think they have a shot to do, I think they'll easily, they'll have a way better shot at winning this division. Speaking of division battles, we have the Bucks plus 10.5 at the Saints. Now, I've been getting a lot of heat these past couple weeks because preseason I picked the Bucks to win the NFC South, and I was really regretting it. They beat my Steelers last week. So they're 1-3. The Saints are 1-3. The Panthers are 2-2, but the Panthers, they're probably going to drop one to the Bears this week. The Panthers are down to their 5th running back. So I think the Bucks may still have a shot if they can beat the Saints, and if the Giants pull one off against the Falcons, then the Bucks will be tied with the Falcons for the division lead. Now, myself and CB are both taking the Bucks with 10.5 points here. But Snowball's taking the Saints. I'm strictly picking against the spread here. I don't expect the Bucks to win, but I think they can. Against the Steelers last week, they got a lot of help from penalties, and they probably shouldn't have won that game. But the Saints haven't been doing well either. You know, they lost to the Browns. So I think this is going to be closer than everyone thinks. The Saints are at home, so they'll probably win. But I see the Bucks coming within 10. CB, you agree with that?
I don't see the Bucks winning either. The Saints at home are very tough to beat, but they haven't exactly looked like the Saints of old. I think they'll start to rebound, but I don't think it's going to be a complete turnaround right away. They did get smacked by the Cowboys last week. So I have a feeling that this game is going to be close, but it's still going to be a Saints win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with the Saints losing to the Cowboys in Dallas. But the way they got smacked around is why I'm picking the Bucks here. Probably would have picked the Saints if it was a little bit closer in Dallas. And speaking of Dallas, our last game of the week, Texans plus 6.5 at the Cowboys. We're all taking the Cowboys. We even got Snowball, the Giants fan, to take the Cowboys. That's when you know a team's legit. CB, do you think the Cowboys will win the NFC East, even with Romo in December?
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I think they will. I don't completely believe in the Eagles anymore after watching them. They got 3 defense and special teams touchdowns last week and still lost. So I'm not sold on them. The Cowboys look like they found an identity led by DeMarco Murray. I think as long as he keeps it up, and I think he will, a team's going to continue to win games.
Speaking strictly as a LaShawn McCoy fantasy owner, Chip Kelly, you have the number 1 running back in the league.
Boss Jamal Charles.
Yeah, well, I have Jamal Charles in one league, but in a money league, I have LaShawn McCoy. And I'm actively trying to shop him now because you only got
not the number 1 running back in the league.
Huh?
He's not the number 1 running back.
Going into the season, he was the number 1 running back. Would you not agree? Jamal Charles also has been bothered by injury, and apparently is a compulsive liar when it comes to holding out. But aside from that, LaShawn McCoy only got 30 yards. How many Pro Bowls do you have on that offensive line for Philadelphia? I know Mathis is out with injury, but Harriman's is pretty good. And, I mean, they have a couple of rookies. But if you're... for the sake of argument, we'll say LaShawn McCoy's a top 3 running back in the league. He only got 30 yards last week. He hasn't been doing great. I don't know where he is on the field. So anyone from my school who's in our fantasy league and wants LaShawn McCoy, I am open for negotiations. I will need a good running back and a decent quarterback. But I am open to negotiations. As for our suicide pool, I'm out. Because I picked against the Giants, as anyone would do when the Giants are playing at home. CB and Snowball are still going with, actually, no, you're not playing the Jaguars. They're picking the Seahawks this week. CB, you want to put some logic to that one?
The Seahawks are by far the best team still available that I can pick from. And they're playing a Washington team that really struggled against the Giants team last week. So a Seahawks team coming off a bye, I like that. They're going to be nice and fresh. And even though they're at Washington, I don't see Washington putting up much of a fight in this game. The Seahawks defense is really going to shred Kirk Cousins this week. And I don't think the Washington pass defense can do much, especially without D'Angelo Hall for the rest of the year. They're going to get shredded by Russell Wilson, who's been performing very well. I see this team struggling to score, if at more than 10 points, if they get there. So I think that's going to be an easy win for the Seahawks. I'm sure Snowball feels the exact same way.
Yeah, he probably does. I think Washington might put up a fight here. I think Kirk Cousins, you know what? Everyone has a bad day. So does Kirk Cousins. Seahawks are probably going to win. I'm pretty much rooting against you guys. And rooting for the Cardinals because I do have a soft spot for the Cardinals. Want them to take control of that division. So go Washington. I'm not going to say their name. So we can look forward to that Monday night. I do want to draw some attention to our fantasy league. The one league that all 3 of us are in is our Boston SBC league. Currently, the standings just for us. Snowball is tied for last. He is... I actually forget his name. Oh, he is the Loch Ness Monsters. He is currently tied for last. He's 1-3. Then we have Bang Bang. Or no. Well, yeah. Bang Bang, CB. He's 3-1. He's tied for first in the league. And then, of course, the Bay Area Bros. My team. We're 2-2, tied for second. We started off 0-2, but we're on a 2-game winning streak. We're playing Bang Bang this week. So that should be an interesting game. You have anything to say for yourself, CB?
I would just like to point out that that I had both the Seahawks defense and Julius Thomas on a bye last week, and there was no one on my team that I felt comfortable dropping. So I decided to start 2 players on a bye week last week, and my team is so talented that I was still able to pull out a victory and maintain the crown for the highest, for the most points scored through week 4 in this league. One bad loss before I made a trade that was quite disappointing, but I would just like to note that there's no way that I do not have the best roster in this league. I've not really checked the waiver wire very much this year for this league, but realized that Ben Tate was once available and someone dropped Sean Moreno. So I decided to add him when we were talking about this, but pointing out the fact that my team consists of Drew Brees, DeMarco Murray, LaShawn McCoy, Julio Jones, Julius Thomas, Ahmad Bradshaw, Wes Welker, and then when they come back, Mark Ingram, Josh Gordon, and Sean Moreno. Plus the Seahawks defense, I see no way that I lose a game. and I'm just waiting for someone's quarterback to get hurt, and I can package Russell Wilson and one of those players for another stud running back, and this league will be more than over.
Okay. Well, first of all, I do have to give you props because you did not have a first-round draft pick in this draft, correct?
First selection was like 16. Completely just kept trading down and still ended up with by far the best team.
How did you get LaShawn McCoy again?
I traded Monte Ball and Crabtree for him.
Who accepted that?
Andrew
Captigan.
Yeah.
Okay,
But,
I need to have a word with him because there's clearly some collusion in this league.
and then I the number one running back in the third round, part of my 3 third-round picks. So
Yeah, I don't know how you landed DeMarco. All right. Well, currently I am up 4-0 because Blair Walsh. How do you only get me 4 points, buddy? Seriously. But this week I'm rocking with Ben Roethlisberger going against the Jaguars, so I'm loving that matchup. Jamal Charles, Rashad Jennings, Brandon Marshall, my man Antonio Brown. Hopefully Larry Donnell can have another 23-point game so I can take down CB. I also have DeAndre Hopkins and the Steelers defense going against the Jaguars. So this is going to be a close one. CB's projected for 118. I'm projected for 112. I guess we'll see. But according to the poll, it says 100% of voters say the Bay Area Bros will beat Bang Bang this week. Just to let you know.
I'm guessing they're the only person to vote.
You can't prove that. So we're gonna move on. Again, huge day in college football today. So many upsets. I don't even know we're even gonna get to all of them. We're just gonna run through the top 25. Utah State beat BYU on it was yesterday, 35-20. And then Thursday, Arizona beat number 2 Oregon 31-24. Huge upset there. Gonna go through like the lower end games here. Number 22 East Carolina beat SMU 45-24. SMU still 0-5. Number 21 Oklahoma State beat Iowa State 37-20. Number 20 Ohio State beat Maryland 52-24. Kansas State at halftime right now 24-7 over Texas Tech. Arizona State's up 15-7 on USC. Number 16 USC. Let's see. No, number 10 Michigan State's up a touchdown on Nebraska in the first quarter. Halftime Auburn is demolishing LSU 31-7. Northwestern actually upset number 17 Wisconsin today 20-14. Notre Dame pulled out a close one 17-14 over Stanford. Baylor knocked Texas around 28-7. Now we get into the higher end. Florida State, they killed Wake Forest 43-3. My Georgia Bulldogs 44-17 over Vanderbilt, number 13 in the country. Ole Miss. This was one of Katy Perry's picks. If you watched her on game day this morning, she was at.
And she picked Mississippi State as well.
She picked Ole Miss, number 11 Ole Miss over Alabama, number 3 Alabama. They won 23-17. She also picked number 12 Mississippi State over number 6 Texas A&M. The Bulldogs won 48-31. So Katy Perry, she looked about as hungover as a person can be on college game day. She was throwing out corn dogs. I don't get the significance of that. Kirk Herbstreit was amazed. But she actually made 2 decent picks. And I think she did pick Oklahoma. They got upset by TCU, 37-33. The go-ahead touchdown on that one was in pick 6. So number 25 TCU knocking off number 4 Oklahoma. Just making sure I didn't miss anything here. again, Rutgers. Do you have a score update on that, CB?